Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. What do we got today, Rick?
We got the Week 10 news and injury report.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', Fantasy Champs? Rick screwed it up again. He screwed up the intro.
Hey.
But you know, we used the good clip for Rick's sake.
Look, it was 2 takes. Okay,
it wasn't 3 takes. That's true. But you know, I never get mine wrong. That's not true.
Yeah,
that is so not true.
You never mess up.
I never screw up my intros. My name is Morgan Colby, and I got Rick Lemon with me as always. Welcome in. If this is your first time, welcome to the Fantasy Champions.
What's up?
Rick was roasting me that I didn't do bad in the listener league.
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to have Ezekiel Elliott completely blow, and my team get hurt most of the season. So I ended up in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So now the question is, do I collude with Rick and trade all of my players?
No, but you can still make a fair trade.
Kidding. I'm still trying. I'm not going to make the playoffs, but I'm still trying. We got a lot to get to in this episode. We're going to talk about the news and injuries around the league. It should be a shorter episode. We like to conclude our week a little bit easier, I guess. A little bit softer on the ears. Easy 99.1.
Oh.
So we'll do that. Before we jump into that, check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter at the FF Champs, on Instagram at thefantasychampions. You can like us at facebook.com/thefantasychampions. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, be sure to subscribe. Subscribing is the best way you can support our show and grow our brand. You got to get us in the featured sections on Apple Podcasts, because that would be amazing.
That would be dope.
But you have to subscribe and leave a review. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can smash the subscribe button. Just absolutely destroy the subscribe button every time you listen to the show. If you are a new listener, don't click subscribe if you've already subscribed, because then you'll just unsubscribe, and that wouldn't be a good thing. You can also click the bell for notifications and like and comment any questions you have for Week 10 down below. So let's jump right in.
Yes, let's do it.
Rick, why don't you lead us off with the first 2 in news notes?
Okay. Noah Fant, he suffered an ankle injury in Sunday's game, but he was able to return in the game, so I think he's fine. I don't know. Have you seen any more news on that?
I have not. I actually tried to look it up. The only news I have is from our writer, Adam Hutchison, who broke down the ankle injury. He says it would be surprising if he could play this week, I believe. But go check out his tweet to confirm that.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on his status.
Yeah, keep an eye on his status for the week.
Yeah, and then Texans coach Romeo Crennel, which is weird saying, said David Johnson, who had a concussion this week, he's up in the air for Week 10 against the Browns.
Okay.
So if he does miss any time, fire up those Duke Johnson shares.
Yeah, if Duke Johnson even get picked up in our home league?
I picked him up.
Oh, there you go. Hey, see? Yeah. Myles Gaskin out, Duke Johnson in.
Yeah, it's gross, but he did.
If I told you draft night when you had Saquon and Fournette before everything went down, that you would be starting Myles Gaskin as your number 2 running back, what would you have said?
I probably would be like, so I'm 0-9.
0-9. No, you're 5-4-5, dude.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Like my team in the listener league could beat your team in the home league. And
maybe.
Yet I'm 1-8.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but it would be close.
It would be very close. Washington quarterback Kyle Allen, he suffered I don't think it was as bad as Dak. I didn't see the play. I just saw the picture, and it didn't look good. But he broke his ankle. He had ankle surgery, and he is heading towards the IR, and it's season ending. So one man's misfortune is another man's opportunity, I guess. Because now Now, Alex Smith is a full-time starter for, the Washington football team.
You were struggling so hard with that.
I worked on it.
You did.
So, I don't know if this is good thing or bad. If this is a good thing or a bad thing for Washington. I know one thing. Mm-hmm. Alex Smith is a lock to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, pretty much.
All he had to do is step on the field to win that award.
No, he's definitely a lock, yeah.
So, anyway,
for him, though.
I don't know if this really affects Washington's team in general. Like, McLaurin's good no matter who's throwing him the ball. I hope Alex Smith gets better as he goes along because he is a good quarterback. He just hasn't played in a while. Do you think Alex Smith right now is better than Kyle Allen or?
I'm not sure. He came in the game and threw 3 interceptions. So I don't know.
How long before they pony up and just get Dwayne Haskins back in the lineup?
I don't know why they're not playing. There has to be some issue with the coach.
Yeah,
has to be.
He probably called him
Ron Rivera.
Okay. Did you, just completely unrelated, did you see the Saints celebrating their win on Sunday night?
Yeah.
Jameis Winston in the locker room eating the dub.
Oh, well, Jameis Winston, yeah that was funny.
He was eating. I was like, dude, no. So he either knows he's a complete clown or he really thinks he's cool. It's one or the other. I don't know why that popped into my head. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know why they're not starting Haskins, but it really doesn't affect Washington. So if you're concerned about Washington switching their quarterback and how that affects the team, I wouldn't be concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn said he's leaning towards resting Justin Jackson in practice this week. If he rests Justin Jackson in practice, I would say that he's probably not going to play. Jackson.
I saw a report that he's very unlikely to play.
Okay. All right, sounds good. What are the next news reports? Next couple?
The Dolphins placed Preston Williams' foot on IR. So that's interesting.
He had a bad foot injury on Sunday, I think.
Yeah. Is that good for Devontae Parker or is that bad?
Indifferent.
Indifferent, yeah. Ben Roethlisberger on Sunday's plane ride home from Dallas sat next to Vance McDonald, who has since tested positive for COVID. So that was
get a big pen.
Yeah, so that's what you were.
You know what happened? You know what happened as soon as Vance McDonald sat down next to Ben Roethlisberger? All the COVID just ran away from Roethlisberger because they were so scared of his smelly beard.
Dude, I would honestly, I'd believe it. But so there's a chance that Ben might have COVID, but
he doesn't need a vaccine. You just need a Ben Roethlisberger beard.
Yeah. So he'll probably go on the COVID IR, but that doesn't mean he won't play. Like kind of like what Stafford did.
Yeah.
He probably just won't practice. And then if he tests positive, then obviously he won't play. But
so
I think he's got time until Sunday.
He did suffer. It
he
looked
injured
like
both his knees. That was the report.
Both his kneecaps. No, actually, it's not his kneecaps. It's the internals of his knees. He hurt both of his knees in the game. And so they said that obviously he's going to continue rehabbing during quarantine, but that is self-explanatory. But it's a good sign that they expect him to play this week because it was either he tore both his ACL or his MCL or he had nothing wrong with his knee. So it looks like there's nothing wrong with his knee. But COVID-19 has taken all the conversation off his knees and put it on Vance McDonald, who sat next to him.
Yeah. So this one, the Panthers' Christian McCaffrey is very much in doubt for Week 10 after suffering a shoulder injury at the end of Week 9's game against Kansas City.
GG.
I also saw a report from Ian Rappaport, not a report, I think he was on NFL Network talking about it. It was just a clip. But he was saying that there's a legitimate chance McCaffrey might not play again this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, just because of rest or whatever it is, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I'm almost 100% sure he's not going to play this week.
Yeah. I mean, Carolina's at this point, I don't think it's they're what are they 2-6?
I think they're 3-6, but if they lose this week, go 3-7. I think they're just going to rest McCaffrey if that. There's a possibility.
I have a question though, and when we do our rankings, I will be the first to say I don't really. Sometimes I include injury, but it's only minor, draft rankings. It's only a minor situation. Like I don't really, I don't use injuries to fully influence my draft rankings. I usually assume, like on our projections, we assume the player will play all 16 when we make the projection, which obviously is not going to happen. That would be a cajillion billion trillion and 0% chance.
Right.
So for Christian McCaffrey, though, we had ample concerns that Christian McCaffrey was going to, at some point, just like Barkley, have trouble with the workload. You know what I mean? And just run into the injury wall, because every running back does. I'm surprised Zeke has not. Zeke is it's all the Chick-fil-A. But McCaffrey hit that wall this year. He's had 2 injuries now, and this one might keep him out for rest of season. And if that's the case, obviously Christian McCaffrey managers are upset about that. But do you think we should use injuries as more of an influence in our draft rankings? Because had we considered maybe Christian McCaffrey getting injured, we might not have ranked him as high as we did.
Yeah, I just think it's really hard to predict an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't, because McCaffrey's been healthy his whole career.
I mean, looking at how McCaffrey played this week, I mean, he's RB1 next year.
Right.
Him and Cook, it's going to be close.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could add it to a factor, but I still don't think it's
okay.
It's just too hard to do it.
That's unfortunate.
And then you can overthink it and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I probably won't do that, but injuries are definitely something that, like Zeke, I've been waiting. For years I've been waiting for a Zeke injury. And it hasn't happened. Like every time I watch, every time I watch the Dallas Cowboys play and I watch them tackle Zeke, it's like watching them tackle
you
Gronk.
Cringe.
Yeah, it's honest to God. I'm like, oh, did he tear his ACL this time? Do you remember watching? Well, I guess Gronk still does it now, but when Gronk was on the Patriots in his prime, and the only way they could get him down was by like shoving their helmet in his spine or
kneecap,
just going after his legs, and it was just like every single time I was like, oh,
right,
don't get hurt, Gronk.
Yeah.
In good news for the running back position, Nick Chubb will practice this week. Stefanski said is progressing, and he expects to know his status by Friday. The expectation is that he's going to play. I would think that if there's no setback this week in practices, that he will play. But just keep an eye on for Friday. Are they in East? What is it? Mountain time, or I can't remember.
Yes, I think
it might not be Mountain time. It might be
Wait.
Anyway. Well, I'm just trying
Cleveland?
I'm trying to figure out when they're Eastern time.
They're
right?
East, yeah.
All right, so you should find out by 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday, Eastern time, if Nick Chubb is going to have a status. I think he will be questionable, and he'll probably play Sunday. Would be my projection.
I agree. Yeah, I think so too.
Frank Reich said he has a level of confidence in Jonathan Taylor. We have not talked much about JT and the lack of anything that he does anymore. So I wanted to reference a report that I read the other day, but I think as a beat reporter for Indianapolis. It said this is how they can handle carries. This is how they've done it the last couple weeks. They have a game script in the early portion of the game that they utilize, and they say, Taylor, you're going to get this many carries, right? And they said they usually script out the first 15 plays, which is not unnormal for this team, but they said they do that, and they have an idea of who they want to give the ball to and the split they want to give the ball to that player and all of that stuff. And then after that, all of the running back calls go to the running back. Like who goes in the game personnel wise is determined by the running backs coach and not Frank Reich. So to give you a picture of that, 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Taylor had 15 snaps, I believe, in the first 15 plays, and he had 6 to 8 carries, somewhere around that. After that, he played like maybe 5 more snaps not 5 more snaps. He had like 5 more touches the entire game. Yeah. So obviously, if the running backs coach does not like him for some reason, or Frank Reich doesn't like it, they're just not going to get him involved. Or if he doesn't have a good start to the game, they'll just not utilize him, which is very concerning if you're a Jonathan Taylor owner.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know
he was still on our trade buys though.
Oh yeah,
for buys and sells.
You pulled it off in our home league.
I did. I just traded for him, so hopefully it turns around.
Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury said Kenyon Drake remains day to day. He did return to practice on Wednesday. I would expect him to play this week.
Yep.
Ian Rappaport reported that Laviska Shenault has a chance to suit up Week 10 against the Packers. I believe he's been out for a little while, so Good to see Chenault back in the lineup. The Packers activated Jamal Williams off the reserve COVID-19 list. I should just like put all the reserve COVID-19 crap in the same freaking area. But anyway,
Yeah.
and Kendrick Bourne also, if you have him on your team and you thought you start him every once in a while, which I don't know you would do now, but he is also on the reserve
Brandon
COVID
Ayuk
list.
going to get 25 targets this week?
Yeah, for sure. But Jamal Williams off the reserve COVID-19 list and Kendrick Bourne on the COVID-19 reserve list. Cam Newton said he had a sore neck after playing the Jets game on Monday night.
He did
know
get
what
hit
that
in the
means.
head on a play.
Yeah, it was a roughing the passer call, right?
Yes. And he was like making some like faces after it happened. I wonder if it's from that play.
I think that's just because he sucks. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't suck. I love you, Cam. Sam Darnold is feeling better, hoping to return this week against the Jets. Following the Jets week 10 bye.
Might as well just set him out rest of the year, honestly.
What are they protecting him from? They're going to draft Trevor.
True.
The NFL will expand the 2020 postseason from 14 teams to 16 teams if meaningful games are canceled because of COVID-19. No one's talking about this because after the election, as I expected, COVID-19 just vanished from existence. I'm still wearing a mask. I'm waiting for that to end. But anyway, so, I mean, I would.
You gotta
hope
get those vaccines
never
out.
going to happen. But anyway, yeah, you know what? The NFL needs to like buy from Pfizer like 500 to 5,000 vaccines and just vaccinate everyone.
Just take it away from.
They're like, give it to the
all
old people
that need
first.
it.
The old people need it, and just rip it away from people who need it, just so we can watch football. That's awful. But anyway, so meaningful games. They're preparing if something starts to deteriorate. They've had 56 positive cases in like 2 weeks. Only 15 of those have been players, and most of them are not relevant players. So to be honest with you, I'm not sure if the season will get canceled because of that. But I think it's just preparation.
Yeah. Okay.
Give us the next couple of news points.
So let's see. So Odell Beckham underwent successful surgery on his torn ACL on Tuesday, so that was good to see. Another COVID-19 move, but the Browns activated Baker Mayfield from the reserve.
He was just
list.
exposed, right? He didn't actually have it, correct?
Yeah, I think he was just close to somebody who had it, kind of like Stafford and potentially Big Ben.
Yeah.
And then you have more. You put down more McCaffrey news. I don't know if you want me to just continue it. He didn't practice on Wednesday.
Oh,
was the last
wow.
we saw.
Wow, I'm an idiot.
No, you're good. But it's just more of the same with McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He didn't practice this week. Schefter doesn't think he's going to play. And there's an off chance that they might rest him for the whole year.
Yeah.
And then Ravens coach John Harbaugh said Mark Ingram, who had an ankle injury, could return for week 10 against the Patriots.
Crush Dobbins.
Yeah, that backfield's fantasy wise, it's just an absolute cluster.
I think it's time. I think it's time to. Dobbins is going to break out next year.
Yes, I agreed.
Where is he going to get
next year.
drafted? That's the question.
I don't know. I'm going to want him on my team though.
8th or 9th round.
Yeah, probably.
I'm so pumped on Gibson. I think I'm going to draft him in the 2nd round. It's going to be ridiculous. Stupidest pick of my draft.
We're overdraft on some young players.
So last year I came out of the season and there's so much that happened that I was like, man, how am I going to analyze this? This year I'm like, I got 12 guys I already want at running back.
I know, same. Just those young players, man.
It's true. Just guys who need opportunity. I mean, Marlon Mack's going to go somewhere. You know where Marlon Mack's going?
No,
Straight to Detroit.
We both had
the same idea. He's gonna ruin Swift. So it's gonna be a five person split between
Swift is just never gonna
Peterson.
be able to beat.
Peterson's just infinite, like Gore.
Yep. Gosh, that's gonna be awful. So John Brown, he's not practicing Wednesday with a knee injury. You wrote that Joe Mixon was limited on Wednesday with a foot injury. I saw that he did not participate in practice.
Oh, really?
I think he partook in drills, but he was listed
limited
as a non-participant from Wednesday.
There is reports that he might not play this week, is what I've seen, but that's a wait till Friday.
I saw another one that he's expected to play, but he might not practice. So just watch the situation with Joe Mixon.
Love NFL reporting.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure what's going on, but N'Keal Harry, concussion. He returned to practice Wednesday, so Jacoby Myers might not get 15 targets again, unfortunately, since I picked him up on my team.
Hey, he there's a lot of talk in the fantasy community about how he could actually be like Cam Newton's DJ Moore. Yeah, because at the end of at Cam Newton's run with Carolina, DJ Moore's are averaging like I think 10 to 12 targets a game.
Yeah, I think even when Harry comes back, I think there's a chance that Myers is still going to get the most targets on that team.
I would agree.
Yeah, so he could be like what we thought Edelman was going to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think he's going to be anything like week-to-week starter, but
yeah,
since he's got like no touchdown floor, but he could be a decent flex from week to week.
True.
Do you want me to keep going and finish it off?
Yeah, do the T. Higgins news and then I'll finish because I really want to talk about my guy.
All right, so T. Higgins, he was limited at Wednesday's practice. I think he'll be good to go, but we'll see. Monitor that situation.
Miles Sanders, he practiced Wednesday. My guy, my dude, open up the heavens. So pumped.
It's finally time.
So Sanders has a
points.
really to get 12 fantasy points. He was. I'll tell you right now. If he had not gotten hurt and he stayed like in the position that he was in, as a starting running back for the full season without getting injured, he would have been ridiculous because he had 18 points against Los Angeles. He had 12 against Cincinnati, and then he had 8 against San Francisco. And then after that against Pittsburgh and Baltimore, he had 22 and 11. The 11 was in one quarter. He had 118 yards in one quarter.
Sheesh.
So
big week this week.
He was expected to go off. And then Boston Scott had like 2 good games against the Giants and Dallas. So now going out against the Giants this week, I have a really good feeling that Miles Sanders, this is the run. He's back. He's going to win your league now. And if he doesn't, I'll be pissed. I'll be done with you forever, Miles Sanders. I lie.
Yeah, you'll still, it's like David Montgomery.
Yeah, it's true. Broncos, Jerry Jeudy isn't practicing Wednesday. The report said they're unsure as to why or what his injury status is. So that was very interesting. And then the final piece of news that we have, unless you have something else, Rick.
I think that's it, yeah.
Kenny Golladay didn't practice this week. He is in danger of missing the game on Sunday, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I had. Who is on Thursday night?
It's the game already happened, but it was the Titans and Colts.
Titans and Colts. Okay, I didn't know if I had any Titans-Colts news. I was trying to avoid Colts news. And I didn't know who the other team was. So
we did talk about Jonathan Taylor. But
yeah, but that had nothing to do with the game itself.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he went off and had like 30 points.
He's going to either get 30 carries or like 4.
I'm so glad that you have him because, well, you know what? You might make the playoffs and that might come to burn me.
What if
But I was nervous about trading him to the other team in our league because I was like, what if he actually turns out to be good and then I just traded him to a team I'm going to lose to in the playoffs?
What if that happens and we play each other in the championship?
Jonathan Taylor gets like 42 points.
Taylor gets 40 points, yeah.
That's never going to happen. That is all the news that we have for this week, and that is it for our Week 10 content. Our Week 10, whatever you want to call it. We're done with Week 10. Moving on to Week 11. Enjoy your Sunday football. Don't forget to check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll talk to you Tuesday, Fantasy Champs.
Later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.